KIMA Action News starts now.
Good evening, everyone. KIMA continuing our coverage of the suicide of former Yakima County Deputy Sean Moore. He committed suicide in his cell at the Yakima County Jail over the weekend. The coroner explained to me today Moore used a towel to hang himself rather than face up to 2 decades in prison for rape, burglary, and assault. Today, I sat down with the director of the Yakima County Jail to talk about Moore's suicide and his troubled time behind bars. It is tonight's big story. For a brief time after entering the Yakima County Jail, Sean Moore was put on suicide watch, but that ended based mostly on comments and conversations Moore was having with jailers and the medical staff there.
He was thinking about his future. He was looking towards programs that he could have available in prison. We'd had other contact or other information from him, from phone calls and such, that he was looking at life after prison. He had requested that I write a letter for him to go to Monroe, because Monroe Penitentiary apparently is closer to some family that he had over on the coast. So,
in fact, even the relationship Sean Moore had with fellow inmates was not consistent with the man planning to take his own life. Talk to me a little bit about what kind of inmate Sean had become, because there were issues with some of the cellmates that he was around, wasn't there?
He was trying to be what we call the tank boss. He was trying to control the television, trying to control the language, didn't want Spanish spoken in a tank, and trying to exert his authority or some kind of authority, which is common with inmates. They were talked to, the issue was resolved, and again, that day that this happened, Sean met with staff and everything seemed just fine.
We now know things were not just fine with this high-profile inmate. Sean Moore had serious medical issues while in jail here. They landed him in the hospital on a number of occasions. It's why jailers kept him in the third-floor medical wing, which meant they had to check on him every 29 minutes. That check at 9:30 Saturday night at cell number 3 found Sean Moore with a towel attached to the upper bunk and around his neck. He was not responding. Given the autopsy, Jack, no question this was a suicide and not something else.
Right, there's no question. No other signs of any other trauma, no defensive wounds or anything like that. So, and with the evidence from the investigation, and it was a kind of a soft ligature hanging, so it was more of a suffocation. It was not a broken neck or anything like that.
Right. When something like this happens, does the jail itself look at its own procedures? Is there now a review to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen in the future?
You know, individuals have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to beat the system or beat the safety measures. You know, Sean was a smart individual, you know, figured out a way to affect this, and you know, it's unfortunate, but you know, to say that these things could never happen, or that you could put all the safety measures in place to keep something like this from happening, you know, no.
Ed Campbell told me today the jail staff does everything it can to protect inmates and prevent them from hurting themselves or others. The Yakima County Jail reports an average of about 2 suicides a year. Campbell says that's actually low for a jail with a population that size. All this being said, a full investigation is underway to make sure nothing more could have been done to save the life of Sean Moore.